best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
Big part of friendship.
I like you. Do you like me?
I do like you.
You are my friend.
You're a nice young man, and I am your friend.
Shut up, Pete. We're not friends now. I don't need you anymore.
You're my best friend.
Friend requests.
The friend request?
Why you ain't accept my friend request, bro? But you don't want to be my friend.
Cheers. Thanks for coming in.
Juice cheers?
Just cheers. Welcome to the friend request. I'm your host, Chloe Madron. And
Are we
today-
on? We're
We're
recording?
on.
Oh,
we're
how
on.
good. Yay, we're doing it.
I am joined today by the wonderful Andrew Hamilton.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's so fun. You
What a
got some.
beautiful setup we've got here.
Thank you. You got some tinsel in your face already. This is good.
Yeah,
Feel
it's been a
free.
while between. I mean, I've got three sisters, but it's been a while since I was in a
Since
setup
you're
like
in
this.
a pillow fort.
Yeah,
You don't do this just regularly?
not for a while. Maybe when I was a big kid, you know. When I was a kid, yeah. I'm one of 5 kids. That was a time when we would do this
Oh
kind
my
of stuff.
God,
But
1 of 5. Where do you sit in that 5?
I'm the 4th.
Ooh, okay. How's that?
It's great. I mean, my older siblings, my 2 older sisters and my older brother are half siblings, but we
Okay.
all grew up together.
Yeah, I know that.
So they're a bit older than me, but we all grew up living together, and so we all see each other as full-blood siblings.
Of course. I get that. I've got like a million step-parents and ex-step-parents and siblings.
Really?
But we all grew up together. I'm like,
Okay, so you're all tight.
we're family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
good.
I think it's cool. Like, it seems... When I describe my family to people, sometimes they think it's weird because I grew up with my dad's first wife, Di, who's the mother of my sisters and my brother, as like my auntie. She lived like 5 minutes down the
Right.
road, and so they'd alternate time, and she'd always be over for every family event, including Christmas.
Yeah.
And so my dad's first wife and my mum are like now like best mates.
Yeah.
And now that they're older, they'll go on holidays together. They just went down the south coast. My dad and so Di's partner Bruce passed away a few years ago, so she's lives on her own. So they went on a holiday. My dad and his first wife and second wife, which on paper sounds weird, but
But it's just how it is. I love that. Honestly, my family's quite similar in that they're all very amicable,
Yeah.
friendly. Even like my mum went and had a day on the beach with my ex-stepmom, just those two the other day.
Isn't it cool when families just put like ego aside for the sake of the kids and just like all get along? Because
Yeah.
it's actually quite rare, right? A lot of families will be like, oh, your father's a piece of shit. Your mother's a bitch.
I mean, I guess it totally. I do think it depends on the how the breakups happened. You know,
That's fair.
because there's
From
one
an
of
affair
my
or something like that, it might be different.
Yeah,
than-
exactly,
it's just like
exactly.
we've just become friends. We're falling
Yeah.
in love. That's a different concept.
like I can't. My mum and dad split when I was 3, and the thought of them together is disgusting to me. Mum says all the time, she's like, "Oh, he's like a brother," and I'm like, "Well, that's gross because you procreated with him 3 times." But
Yeah, it's a weird time to feel like that after you've already like had the sex. Like, that's supposed to come before, right?
no,
I
it's not
couldn't
supposed
possibly
to come
have
at
I couldn't possibly have sex with you. You feel like a brother, not like 3 kids in. Wait a second, this is starting to feel weird.
I think it is. I don't think it should come at any point, honestly. I think kudos to them for splitting because that's not correct.
But they're on good terms now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. But my mum isn't on great terms with one of my parents, like my ex-stepdad.
Yeah.
And so, but it sucks because it's like everyone else is so close. And even my dad and my ex-stepdad are like besties.
Oh, what?
But everyone else, we have the whole Christmas together. It's just the one
Did
dude.
they know each other
who's-
before?
They did, yeah. It's
What?
so
Oh my
complicated.
God.
My dad and my mum got married by. Oh no, I don't think he was the priest or anything, but he was at least in the wedding party. My ex-stepdad, who became my mum's second partner.
That's wild. It's so incestuous.
I know. It's okay. I learned from them, and that's why I got into comedy and only dated comedians.
Keep it in the family.
Exactly.
Small network.
Then we're all friends. That's why I need a friendship podcast, because I really fundamentally misunderstand the term.
I feel you.
So I want to talk to you about friendships in general. I think let's start from the start. You said you're the 4th child of 5.
Mm-hmm.
How did that, stereotypically middle children and youngest children require a lot of attention.
Well, I was kind of like I was the fourth of five, but I was also of my parents. I was the first and the eldest, so I kind of
Okay.
yes, there was that double.
You got some weird
I
dynamics.
was my mum's first.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's kind of a mixed bag of both being the first kid and the middle child treatment.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
I had a pretty good upbringing and certainly got spoiled, I think, a fair bit. My mum somehow always turned a blind eye to whatever mistakes I've made.
Nice.
You know, so
And continues to.
she's been my biggest supporter from day one, which has been very handy, particularly over the last few years where I needed a few people to support me.
I mean, don't want to bury the lead too much here. We're going to get into it anyway. Andrew was in prison relatively recently.
Yes, 2021.
2021.
From June till October. I was in maximum security remand, which is basically unsentenced prison.
Yeah. Was everyone in COVID at that time? I was in a...
Yeah, I was basically locked up the exact same time as the Sydney COVID lockdown.
Perfect. That's
Now, before anyone worries, I was for psychedelic drugs.
No other drugs?
Well, they're the ones that kept me in prison. I also had cocaine. I mean, ketamine's considered a psychedelic. So,
Oh, yeah, of course.
magic mushrooms, acid, MDMA, and ketamine, and then cocaine.
Yes.
And then
Cheeky boy.
yes, so I went to jail for that, and then got out, and then I was under house arrest for a while, and then I started doing stand-up comedy in February 2022.
What a journey. God, there's so many. I have so many questions for every part along that journey.
Fire away, that's
No,
great.
let's start from the start. When you were a kid, what kind of friendships did you have? Were you a little loner? Were you easily making friends?
I had a group of mates. There was about 7 or 8 of us at primary school, and we were all best mates, real tight.
Cute.
And so we would all watch the WWE, the wrestling together.
As tiny children.
Well, which was like when I was like 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's a tiny child.
Sometimes we'd even try and do the moves in the backyard.
Of course.
We played a lot of like Nintendo 64, a lot of N64, a lot of GoldenEye and WCW versus NWO wrestling on and ice hockey and all kinds of games on Nintendo, and we had the best time growing up. And then when I got to 12, all my best mates from primary school were all going basically to the same high school in Wahroonga called St. Leo's, and my dad had decided I should go to his old school, which was a private school in Lane Cove called Riverview, and I did not want to go because I was like, all my best mates are going somewhere else. So that was devastating.
Yeah, but you went.
I went, and at first I was like, I'm going to hate this. I ended up loving it. But, you know, and you make new friends and whatever. But at the time, I was devastated because you're losing all your best mates.
It sucks. It's so sad. I definitely had a lot more of my friends going to other schools when I got to high school, and it was a real freaking bummer.
I mean, I still try to hang out with them, but it just wasn't. It was just different.
Oh,
from seeing them
totally.
every day.
Totally.
Hanging out with them every couple of weekends.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the same.
Oh, yeah. I've been talking a lot about like friendship breakups and the unintentional ones where you just in different circumstances. That's the hardest. It's your poor little baby heart.
Yeah. Well, you see that even with like comedy, you know, like guys that I was really close to because I was seeing every day at like open mics and stuff like that, and then you start doing better gigs or different stuff, or you just like your time just goes into different energies, and suddenly you're not hanging out as much, and so it kind of just it impacts the friendship, or just it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist anymore. It just changes the parameters of what that relationship looks like.
Yeah, totally. But you made new friends in high school.
Made new friends.
You were okay. What kind of guy were you in high school?
A bit of a smart ass, massive underachiever. I thought effort was lame.
Have you changed that opinion?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, now I think effort's really cool.
It's really cool.
At the time, yeah, I liked the idea of like doing well, almost without like. I didn't study much. I somehow bluffed my way through. I was good at like English and math. and ancient history for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of the time I didn't put too much work into it. It was lucky that my brain somehow picked things up pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Did you start being a little cheeky as a teenager, like drinking, drugs, smoking?
Yeah, I was doing all that from
Yeah.
a pretty young age. I mean, not so much drugs. I mean, a bit of weed, but I was a
Yeah.
massive bitch on the weed. But
What do you mean?
Oh, like I've got like little wimp lungs. If I smoke weed, I just get really high real quickly. Like,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
like,
Okay.
I like green out hell quick. I'm much better with chemicals than I am with.
It's all
I'm
chemicals,
better at
but-
I'm better at putting stuff up my nose than up.
Yeah,
my,
yeah,
my,
yeah,
I've
right.
got these little weak asthma lungs.
I have asthma too, but I
Yeah.
managed to.
But you can handle
You know,
weed?
I can handle it all, baby.
Okay, all right. Well, you're better than me, Chloe.
No, I'm just sorry. yeah, I can smoke weed and vapes. I'm pretty cool.
I can't do that to save myself. I can put things up my nose.
Yeah.
Well, I did. I don't do it anymore, but yeah, I went too far with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can certainly handle that much better than I can inhaling any drugs. Actually, one time I tried to do a ketamine snow cone, which is like smoking weed
Jesus.
out of a bong laced with ketamine.
Yeah.
And fuck, I was so unwell after it. I don't recommend anyone trying that ever. Do not do that. You will be not in a good place.
That sounds awful. I
Yeah,
think I
we
tried
were, like,
that with.
daring each other to do it, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it," because I was like, "I've got to be the big man," even though I had these little bitch lungs. And
Oh God,
Yeah.
that
Have you-
sounds awful.
Have you done something similar?
I tried with cocaine before, but I didn't
Oh,
really
yeah.
notice it. I was really obsessed when I was like 18. Obsessed, addicted, you know, whatever you want to call it. But
Mm-hmm.
I had this ongoing coke and weed habit at the same time, which is so dumb because I'd just be like, weed, bring me down. Coke,
One's an
bring me
upper,
up.
one's a
And
downer.
I'm just kind of in the
And then you
middle,
just
but
break
feeling
even and
good.
you
Yeah.
just feel like you would have if you hadn't done the drugs at all. Almost.
It was really dumb. I did lose 20 kilos in 6 months, though.
Well,
so.
there you go. This episode is brought to you by the drug diet.
No. Just last week this week I had Wolfie talking about Ozempic, which is the diabetes medication that he's taken purely for dietary,
What?
like to lose weight.
Is that bad for you if you like
Yeah.
take it like and you're not meant to?
Yeah, it's bad for lots of reasons.
Wow.
So none of that. Thank you.
But he's doing it to lose weight.
yeah, and
and
it's
is working?
worked. He's lost a lot of weight.
I didn't. Yeah. Okay. There
I'm
you go.
jealous, but
Seems like there's got to be easier ways.
yeah. Okay, so pretty popular as a teen. I heard you recently on a podcast talking about your uni experience as well, which sounded very American. Like,
Yeah, I lived on campus in Bathurst for 3 years
That's
in a place
crazy.
called Towers, and it was exactly like what you see these frat movies like from like in American movies. It was
Yeah.
just drugs and booze and sex and a little bit of studying every
Yeah,
now and then. It
yeah.
was so much fun, and so like. Yeah, I would highly recommend people going to a regional university and living on campus as
Yeah.
opposed to like a city uni where you just go home every day. I had so much more fun. But I think these days, I mean, I went to Bathurst recently and it seemed like it had kind of died in the arse. The
Yeah?
on-campus bit. I mean, I didn't give it too much of a look, but the roads at the uni were all shot to pieces, and it looks like there's much more people studying online these days, or I don't know. It just didn't seem like there was the same thriving on-campus lifestyle of when I went there back like how long ago now? Like 15 years ago now.
Jesus, he's so old.
I am old.
So old.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Horrific.
What was that? Yeah.
But you made some good friends.
Such
in
good
there?
mates. Oh, because like there was most of the people that would live on campus were people that came from Sydney, and so there'd be a lot of people would go to uni during the week and then they'd drive back to Sydney because it's only like a 3-hour drive most weekends, and so the skeleton crew of dudes that would just like, oh no, we've chosen to live in Bathurst. Let's live in Bathurst.
Yeah.
We'd be there with the skeleton crew every weekend, just like playing video games and watching sport, like getting pissed watching rugby league, betting on the sports, and then like doing lawn bowls or movies or like going to the pub. We just had the best time.
Yeah.
And then during the week, there'd be all these uni parties because that's when everyone would be on campus, and it would just be booze and sex and ridiculous outfit nights and partying, and it was just some of the best years of my life.
Good.
I'd always want to go back, but like you know when you're just like way too old now.
Yeah, you can't go.
Can't go back and be
What
like,
are you
hey,
talking about?
hey, I'm just like, I'm a
Yeah.
cool guy. Let's go.
It's like going to schoolies. You can't. No.
Yeah, but I still think I'm 20 in my head. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
I still think I'm 20 in my head, Chloe. So
No,
I'll be like,
I
hey, would you guys like to party? And they'd be
Jesus
like, who is this old man? Get away. Look at your grey hair. You got greys in your
Terrifying.
beard.
Don't
Yeah.
do it.
I'd be like, hey, kids, I'm still hip. I'm still cool. Ducka, 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 ducka,
Oh,
ducka.
what is that?
I'm like, hey, Macarena,
Oh
you
my
know?
god. Oh. Okay.
And they'd be like, we're calling the cops.
Yeah.
I'm this
Yeah,
weird
for
dude.
sure. No, I'm gonna put you on a list after this.
I've said too much.
You said way too much. The drugs are not the worst of it, folks. No, that's it sounds very fun. I am very curious though. Like I've spoken to a couple of dudes about this, and I think it really depends on where you're at in your life and everything, and just the kind of person you are. But I'm very fascinated about male relationships, especially in that kind of scenario where you're like party, kind of fratty. Do you get very expressive emotionally with each other?
I mean, what do you mean by expressive? But you might get pissed and like put your arm around and be like, fucking, I love you, mate. I fucking love you. That's about, is that expressive?
No.
No? That feels expressive to me.
I mean, if that's the limit, no.
That's expressive for a bloke.
I read about a study recently, and I've heard this spoken about a number of times, but this study was more specific. It's about how women who marry don't live as long as women who are single, and men who marry live longer than men who are single, right? Mm-hmm. And apparently some of the data in that is because the women have these really deep relationships outside of a romantic relationship, and men don't have that as often. So like they'll find that or have it in a romantic relationship. And I'm worried because I'm like, oh my God, these poor boys, they must be lacking. Do you think like by now you have relationships with men where you're chatting a bit more open? Like someone you could say, hey, I feel really shitty, I'm sad, or have a cry with?
Yeah. True. I do, yes.
Yeah.
Like I had a mate the other day, we were chatting, and then he just paused and goes, but how are you really doing?
Yeah.
You know? And I guess the way he said it, and the fact that like he emphasized that it was like he really cared, and that was cool. I don't think that when I was younger that
It's probably less to be sad about, honestly.
there was less to be sad about, but I guess if one of your mates was down, you could still tell. Like even if you weren't specifically talk about it, you could read them pretty well. And so while we may not be like, "Hey man, how are you really doing?" We were always in our own way checking in on each other.
Okay.
If a guy was having a hard time, you wouldn't talk about it, but you go take him out and get pissed, and like you keep him busy. You know, well, mate, we're gonna go watch the footy. Come on, mate, come on, just keep him going. We're not gonna.
Which isn't too different to saying, "Hey, gal, let's go watch some rom-coms and eat ice cream." Like it's just another form of description.
We may not have been equipped enough to be the therapist to be like, "Hey, man, let's talk about your feelings." But we'd be like, "Okay, we know you're struggling. Let's go and cheer you up."
Yeah, I mean, and there is also something to be said that friends shouldn't have to be their other friends' therapists.
Totally.
You know? That's what therapists are for.
Sure. And it's not that you don't care about how they're feeling. It's just like, yeah. If he wants to volunteer this information, I'm here to talk about it, but I'm not going to be like, hey, man, how are you going after that breakup? Like, hey, man, let's go watch the footy and see some like rugby league guys break each other's heads open.
That's crazy to me. It's crazy. I was with some boys, some friends the other day, and one of them has had a breakup. And that one left, and I was like, oh, he seems pretty down. And the other guys are like, does he? I don't know. He seems the same. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
I think, guys, I think when you hang around with someone all the time, usually, as idiotic as we males can seem, we usually can have a pretty good read on when a guy
Totally. I know.
doing pretty tough. No one's usually that good an actor that they can't that they can hide it from their mates. Mm-hmm. People can usually see through you. There was one time when my eldest sister, was struggling because she was going through her divorce, and she hadn't told anyone in my family, but I knew from her energy straight away. I could see right through it that she was putting on a brave face. And so I texted her and I was like, hey, are you okay? You seemed off. And she's like, thanks for noticing. No, I'm not doing well. Let's hang out.
Yeah.
And so, that was cool I felt so validated that I saw that in her, and then I checked, and I was right.
Yeah.
And so we went kayaking, and we went out and we had lunch, and we got pissed, and she talked me through exactly what was going on with her, and I was like, thank God I noticed that.
Yeah.
Because I felt like she really wanted someone to notice and to be able to talk to her about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like a pretty cool brother at the time.
Yeah, that's really nice. It sounds like you're a good friend.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I try to be, but,
Yeah.
you know, I'm certainly much better friend now that I'm off drugs and stop doing crime, you know?
God, drugs will really ruin people. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sober by any means. I think they're fun to use if you can, if you're genetically able or whatever. But, oh, God, when you're stuck in them, especially drugs like Coke, it just makes you the worst. I was the
such a
worst.
shit bloke, yeah.
Ugh, yuck. When you were selling drugs, what the hell was it like having friends then? Because, you know, you see the Pineapple Expresses and the like...
You got a lot of friends. People,
yeah, exactly.
A lot of friends that want to hang out all the time because they know they're getting free Coke.
I mean...
And it's just a fun thing, and they know they're going to get all the perks of it. We're going to fancy restaurants and drinking lots of fancy bottles, and I even took mates on holidays and
my God.
things like that. So it was like living a fun life. And then, it's interesting... You see who your real friends are when you come out of jail and who's still around, right?
Yeah,
and so
totally.
Some people that you think are definitely going to be there aren't, and that hurts. But then people that you're like, there's no way, come out of the woodwork. And you're like, wow, okay, I wasn't even that good a friend to them, and they're here for me in my toughest moment. No. That shows, it reinforces how much of a shitty friend you were, but it also realizes this is a friendship I need to really care for because they're here for me now when they don't have to be. There's no reason why they should have been, but they're here to back me up.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
That's so nice.
Yeah. So
my God,
I can't sit here and be bitter about it because it's just, I always say prison was like a clarifier. Some people some people aren't there for you, but other people come to the party.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's cool.
Before that, when you were in the thick of, you know, everyone dining on your dollar.
Yes.
How did that feel? Like, did you kind of have a sense that that's what was going on?
No, because you're so high in your own bullshit, right?
Yeah.
You just think that you're popular because you're just a great dude and you're fun, and so you know you convince yourself that it's real, and it's not. And particularly when you're high all the time, it's easy for you you're not thinking straight. So it's not till you get pulled back from that. And the party finishes, and the money runs out, and the drugs run out, and then you see who's still around.
Yeah. Holy shit! I can imagine.
And it's not the people you think it will be, but it's not no one. Yeah. So it's like it's not such a terrible thing to happen.
Yeah, of course.
Like, life goes on.
Yeah, I can imagine. Though, if you were someone like because you had such a strong, from what I'm getting, a strong base of friendships in your childhood, in your developmental like years, right? There was no part of you like deeply clinging onto it. I feel like someone who was more damaged or traumatized, like say they weren't popular or whatever else, they were bullied, they would really cling to that, and it would probably break them when those friends disappeared.
Yeah.
But you were fine.
I mean, I think I just the whole experience of losing all the things that I thought I valued and realizing, hey, I might not have money anymore, and I might not have like some of the. I lost my fiance out of it. I lost my dogs. I lost my home. I lost my business. But then I was like, well, I've still got like my family. Like still loves me. I've still got some friends that stuck by me, and I have my health, and I had a new hunger for life, and so I was like, this is not all that bad. There's still plenty of positives here.
Yeah, that's great.
And I got comedy out of it, and that's one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my whole life.
Totally.
So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and be bitter about any of it.
Yeah. Oh, completely understandable. Okay, so when you were in prison,
yes, yo, boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom. What the hell? How did you make friends? Did you beat someone up on your first day? What the?
Yeah.
Did you do like a me move and try to bake for
bash them
everyone?
or have sex with someone on your first day? It's that's the rules. I did both. I thought, hey, let's hedge my bets. So I got lucky. I got really lucky because on my transport truck to go from jail, like when you first get arrested at the police station, to prison, I was on there with another guy who was heading there to prison for his first time ever. And he was about my age. His name is Clark, and he was a Kiwi bloke. And so we hit it off straight away.
Of course. Yeah.
We hit it off straight away, and then we
Yep.
ended up being cellmates in 5 different prison wings, and we had each other's
What?
back. And
That's
he
so
was like my
nice.
best mate, and we talked about everything. And so we'd train together, and we'd we'd watch movies together and
Mm-hmm.
share M&Ms, and we'd complain when each other was snoring, and we just had this really harmonious. It made the prison experience so much easier because I had someone with my back from day one.
Yeah.
And then we made other friends, and so like a lot of people not everyone has a positive experience the way I did it.
Yeah.
I got pretty lucky, and I think
Yeah.
it also helped that people thought my charges were funny.
Yeah.
Like, this bloke's didn't have mushrooms. What? And they put him in jail. So
Crazy.
he was my first friend. He unfortunately he got bail and he hung himself.
Oh my God.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. Holy shit. Fuck, that's devastating.
Yeah, it really hit me for 6 when
Oh,
I
of
found
course.
out because I loved him.
Yeah.
But he made the whole he had my back and helped me through my toughest times in there, and then I made other friends, and it just makes just a tough situation so much better when you just got some people to talk shit with, have a laugh, exercise, which is so important for your mental health. And suddenly you're like, I can survive this.
Yeah.
And not only am I going to survive this, but when I get out, I'm going to thrive. I'm not going to come back here. I'm going to go and do something good. And there's so many guys that can't do that or won't do that. It makes a big difference if you have a support network. And I had so many people that supported me to help me back on my feet. And not everyone has that, but I had plenty of buddies. Some of them are out, and I talk to regularly.
That's nice.
Some of them have been out and then now they're back in again. You know?
Yep. Yeah.
There's plenty of those stories. I mean, a lot of guys become repeat offenders and just keep going back to jail again and again and again. So when they're out again, I'll hang out with them, and if they want to come over for dinner, they're welcome. I had some of my mates from jail come over and had dinner with me and my parents
Nice.
before.
Yeah. Cute.
But when I did some gigs on the Gold Coast recently, and I saw a guy that I'd spent time with in Park Lee, and we had a hug, and he hung out with me for the night and watched me do comedy, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, no one in jail is your mate." I disagree. I think that there are genuine people in there. Obviously, there's some real snakes. Like there are guys that I was mates with. I looked them up when I got out, and some of them had lied about their charges.
Yeah. Okay.
One had murdered his partner.
Jesus.
Bashed her with a bat and then stabbed her, and he told everyone.
God.
He told everyone he killed a pedophile. So he was
My
he
God.
was okay in the yard, and he was one of my good mates. Yeah.
Fuck, that sucks.
And when I got out, I found out that he was just a horrible murderer.
Oh, how'd that make you feel?
Pretty uncomfortable.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't stoked about it.
No. Oh my God. I can understand why you'd lie, but Jesus.
Yeah, so that's why you don't always know why guys are locked up. Sometimes prison guards will leak information, but not always.
Yeah.
More likely for pedophiles and just a murderer.
Yes.
But very heavy.
Fuck.
His name, Jason Lloyd.
Is he still in prison?
Oh yeah, he's going to be in there for a very long time.
I mean, you hear things about women killing, and people get off in a surprisingly.
He'll be in there for decades.
Good. Oh fuck, that's so insane.
So heavy, hey.
So heavy.
But it's almost like when you Google someone and it turns out they were legit about what they said they were in there for. It's almost a sigh of relief. Okay, this guy.
Oh, that's nice.
I had a cellmate who got done for meth, and he had he got caught with an esky full of cash and drugs, and then I looked it up, and it was this hilarious story about him getting caught with an esky full of meth, and I was like, okay, well, it was true.
Yeah,
story checks out.
Good on him.
Yeah, he was a great cellie. I got pretty lucky with most of my cellmates, that we got along. It's important to enjoy watching the same TV shows because you only got one TV and two guys. So if you don't like what they're watching and you're going to be in the cell for 18 hours a day, it's going to cause issues, right? So yeah, I was lucky that most of the time we like to watch the same game. Sometimes I wouldn't care, and I used to be a pretty good pick. I judge of what we should watch, so like that was always fun. I'd be like, all right, we've planned it out. We're going to watch game shows. Then we'll watch the news. Then we'll watch Friends. Then we'll watch whatever. There's a couple of movies on tonight. I was thinking we could watch GoldenEye, but like what we debate like, or would you like to watch Shawshank for the third time? So
Jesus, watching Shawshank in prison.
Yeah, it was on all the time, Chloe. Like every month it should be Shawshank again.
That's fucked.
Yeah, so you kind of plan out your night
Yep.
between that and cooking up some food in your cell, and I'd sometimes read some books, and you just get into a rhythm of jail. You just get used to this is my new life.
Yeah.
And you make the most of it.
Yeah.
You know, when you're out in the yard, you exercise, you shower, you have a laugh, you make some phone calls to your family.
Yeah.
And then you do it all over again. Every day is like Groundhog Day. There's no weekends. It's just, you train, you're in your cell. You train, you're in your cell every day. And you just get so used to the regime that you're like, okay, this is not so bad. You get to know the same guys.
Yeah.
The worst part was when I got relocated from Parklea prison, because they don't tell you. They just knock on your door in the morning and they're like, you're moving. And then I got sent to another prison. And so you made all these friends. Then you're like, oh, I'm going to have to start all over again. I don't know if like they're going to like me. I might get bashed. I've heard bad things about this prison. Like, am I going to be in danger? All this shit. And you're like, oh man, this is just a fucking nightmare. And then you get into a yard. And I was at Long Bay with like 80 dudes, and like half of them were in there for murder. And I'm just some mushroom farmer. Such a humble mushroom farmer. And you're like, all right, well, game on. Let's start again.
Yeah,
so luckily I got lucky with a good cellmate who introduced me around the yard, and then I had to just do the whole friendship thing again.
Yeah, okay.
I got lucky that there was a guy in there for heroin supply who recognised me from Surrey Hills, because I'd shouted him and his wife beers when I'd won on the pokies a few times. And he was like one of the main dudes in the yard, like very connected.
Oh, okay.
And so he vouched for me in the yard, which helped me to protect me. And then he hooked me up with like a sandwich press and a kettle. And like he'd give me like eggs because you can't buy fresh eggs on the buy up. But there's guys in like these positions of power called a sweeper. Who's like an admin guy. They clean and they hand out shit, and they get a carton of eggs a week. And he used to lay one on my pillow every week like some kind of golden goose.
That's so cute.
So a fresh egg on bread in jail with a little bit of margarine. Oh my God, I was like, this is a luxury.
Oh my God.
It was so good.
So, all right. So a big take home I'm getting here is always buy shout beers for strangers when you're winning on the pokies.
Absolutely.
Just in case you go to prison and one of them is running.
And if you're selling drugs, don't get caught.
Don't get caught. Appreciate eggs.
Don't try to marry a girl from California.
Okay.
Crazy Americans are going to dub you into the cops.
I mean, I feel like that's a little generalized, but...
And it's also mostly my fault anyway. But
yeah, don't sell drugs. Fuck.
No, it's mostly her fault. She got me in. I would have got away with it for another 10 years.
Oh my God. None of this on my podcast. We believe women. Oh my God. Okay. So you got out of jail. And also, like, I would just like to say, I mean, I feel like there'd be an aspect of trauma bonding with people, especially when you made friends with the guy who hadn't been in as well.
Absolutely. So I talked to my uncle about my experience, and he was like, this sounds exactly like what it was like in the army.
Yeah,
know,
exactly. So if anything, it's actually easier to make friends in prison. And if I need some new friends, maybe I should get locked up.
Go to jail. Don't rule it out, Chloe.
No, I've ruled it out. I was just shaking hands with Jacob in bed the other night saying we won't go to jail because it sounds bad.
You already made a promise?
Yeah, we promised each other no jail, no prison. But it does sound like a nice way to make friends. I'll keep it in mind, okay?
I think, like, obviously, you get this narrative from movies and TV shows and stories about the violence and how bad it is and all this kind of stuff. But most of the guys in there aren't in there for like really evil crimes. Most of them are like just lost souls that did really dumb shit. And they're not out there to try and like bash and rob you and be bad. They're just trying to survive, do their time and go home.
Yeah.
Right? They want to go home to their friends. They want to go home to their families. And so most of them, there's a code in jail, but, you know, it's about respect, but guys also want to give you a fair go. You know, if they see a guy who's doing it rough, they'll try and cheer him up and help him out, and that's the bit you don't hear about. So that's the cool part of it. Is
Yeah.
that I found
Bless you.
guys in there to be quite compassionate.
Yeah.
Like if someone gives you something in jail, like some food, and you know that they have like basically nothing. It's such a generous act. Even if you don't want it, you accept it because you know
Yeah.
how much it means for them to give you
Totally.
that. So you always accept it.
Oh, that's so kind.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got out.
Like there was this Chinese dude. I used to sit. Guys would see me doing Sudoku puzzles.
Yeah.
Because I like to keep my mind active.
Uh-huh.
And this old Chinese man came up to me one day, and he just gave me this book of Sudoku puzzles.
Aw.
And I just smiled at him, and he couldn't speak a word of English,
Aw.
but he saw my smile, and he was like, good, yeah, like.
Oh my God,
and then
that's
just
so
walked
beautiful.
off. And I was like, so it was such a nice, simple gesture, but like, just out of respect, because I was quite good at chess in the yard, and so I'd play a lot of the Chinese guys, and like, so they respected me. They call me uncle out of respect.
Nice.
Because I could beat a lot of them at chess.
Yeah.
And so when I was playing any of them, like they'd all stand around, like stroking their chins, like just watching me play. And so yeah.
How does this white man do it?
So that was cool. That was
Yeah,
fun. But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
You see, there's all these like small relationships, and you just you get to know people and try and be reasonable and decent yourself, and that kind of comes back.
Yeah, that's great. That's really cool. Okay, continuing down the timeline, you get out. You immediately realize some friends are gone. Some
So-
friends are coming out.
I got granted bail in like mid-October 2021, and most of my mates came to my parents' place to see me within the first like 48 hours.
Yeah,
As soon as they heard.
yeah.
Some mates that I thought would be there within 24 hours never came, ever.
Jesus. What kind of friendships were these people? Like, what were they? People that you were working with, or people that were just good friends from?
Just from like mutual friends, but guys that I hung out with all the time that would call me brother, like their brother.
Yeah.
Like hung out with like every day, and you do the world. You do. I used to do everything in the world for them, and then you get out and they never come, and you're like, well, brutal. You're like, that's heavy.
Do you ever
But-
send any messages or anything?
No, I can't have hate filling up my heart, you know? I just
Yeah.
was like, look, man, that's fine. That's on them. I'm going to go out and try and be a success story, and hopefully one day they'll go, wow, I made a mistake there.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go out and try and be successful and hopefully a good redemption story and make it worth it to all the people that stuck by me to say,
Yeah.
hey, we did the right thing, and I want to hopefully have them sharing my successes one day.
Yeah, of course, of course. Man, you're still so generous. That's very kind. That's really
Right.
nice.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, fuck that guy. I'm going to...
But there was no moment of that? There wasn't even a second of, oh, fuck that guy?
Oh, yeah, I used to sit outside their house in my car. Like, I'm going to run him over when he comes out. I'm going to bash him. I'm going to take a shit in his face.
I mean, I get slighted a tiny little bit and I'm plotting. I don't do anything, but I'm plotting. I'm like, oh, man, the things I do. But, you know, I am learning to let go. I meditate a lot.
I think, well, in jail for a while when I thought people had wronged me, I did meditate on hate for a bit,
Yeah.
and I didn't like what it did to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, God, if you were sitting in prison for 10 years meditating on hate, you could turn into a real monster.
Oh, it's awful. I mean, I do not hate anyone. I cannot fathom the people that have the energy
That's so
to
draining.
hate. Oh my God.
your soul,
but
on
people
your
like
body?
on the internet and stuff who hate complete strangers. I'm like, man, you are so sad. This sounds
yeah, you
awful.
know, there's something not going. Their life's not going great.
No, things are not going
If
well.
you're like, got to be like, I got to let them know.
It's awful.
You're not funny. You're shit. You're ugly. You're dumb.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I'm like, man, go for a walk.
Yeah.
My God.
Walking a wank.
Walking away.
Walking a wank. Go on. Get some sunlight.
As Fuchsius once said.
Yeah. So I feel so fortunate for where I feel like I have a second chance now. after I essentially felt like my life was totally over. So I don't have time to like worry about hate, like, and being bitter and about the things that, like friendships that fell apart. I just want to go out there and do positive things,
Nice.
you know, and
so one of those things was stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Straight away, straight out the gate, literally.
as soon as I was allowed, I had to bring my parents, my mum, to my first ever gig because
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed. My bail rules at the time were that I wasn't allowed out of the house unless I was in the company of my mum and dad.
Awesome.
So I'd be like, Mum, can we go to Crown Comedy in Lewisham?
Oh my God, no way. Crown had an audience for the first time ever.
Yeah, my
It was
mum.
your mum. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fuck. How did you find making friends in comedy? I mean, I think that you are probably an anomaly because you came in with a great story.
Yeah.
Was that pretty much it? Everyone was like, who the heck are you? What's this story?
I think that helps.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
had this crazy story that I was doing jokes about my time in prison and I'd just gotten out. So people were, fortunately, people found it funny straight away. And I
Yes.
think people are instantly nicer to you if they think that you're funny
Totally.
in comedy.
Totally.
But then on top of that, I mean, I try to make an effort to introduce myself to people and to chat to them and just build friendships because, I mean, I also had lost a lot of friends. So I was like, if I'm going to be hanging around doing open mic nights with four or five nights a week with the same people, I should at least build friendships.
Yeah, you are very good at that. I can see how you had a successful business as well. Like Andrew also ran a pizza shop. Very cool. But you are very good at the building of relationships.
You got to
it seems.
network. You got to talk to the people. You got to make some friendships. You got to sell some drugs. Oh wait, we're not doing the drug selling anymore. But
No drugs.
the rest of it still sounds the same, which is like you get to know people, you understand them, you try and build personal relationships, and like I found a lot of these people to be kindred spirits because if you're getting up and trying to make rooms of strangers laugh 4 or 5 nights a week for no money, there has to be something in you that's driving you to do that, right?
Yeah, there has to be something wrong with you.
There has to be something wrong with you. And if I'm like, I'm really fucked up, these people must also.
In the same
then
way.
You're like, I have to respect them for that.
Yeah.
Because we believe in something about the power of comedy, and that is enough for me to think this person is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, totally. That's really nice. I found moving from Brisbane to Sydney was interesting because, and you wouldn't have this as a comparison, but Sydney, like Brisbane is so much smaller of a comedy scene, right? And
Yep.
starting there, it was...
I noticed that in the 1 week that I spent there.
Yes,
A
it's
lot of-
tiny.
A lot of the same people at every gig. Yeah.
Yes, which is... it has its ups and downs.
I imagine if there's somebody you don't like, it's fucked because you're still going to see them like every fucking day.
Yeah. Whereas in Sydney, it's crazy. Like, especially girls. When I see another female comedian, I'm like, oh my God, hey, because I'm only seeing one other one at most gigs, you know?
Right.
If
yeah.
that.
Yeah, correct.
So-
yeah, there's a lot of lineups that will have one chick. Yeah.
I get this. Yeah, but it also, I don't know, it was noticeable to me how much more people were just doing their own thing, especially it's a big city. People have bigger plans here. You're doing a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess starting doing the open mics and things, you would have seen a lot more of the same faces. It would have felt smaller because it was...
Yeah. Well, that's
same
why
people.
sometimes got comments have been like, oh, let's hang out. I'm like, can we hang out at a gig? I don't really have time just to hang out socially.
Yeah.
But unless we're going to hang out and have a couple of beers at a show.
Yeah,
Then like,
yeah,
cool,
it's
let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. What are we doing?
It's a lot easier that way.
It's so much easier.
Yeah, or like, okay, can I come to your podcast? Easy, then we'll
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah. If we're going to hang out, let's at least get something out of it. Right? Create content or practice our new gear. Let's do something.
That's an interesting part of it, though. Do you think that, I mean, the friendships in comedy, I feel like there's always another level of what people want to, people are trying to get stuff out of each other,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Have you noticed that at all?
I guess I probably don't notice as much as maybe you or other people do. I think because people had just been instantly nice to me, that now I don't know what the flip side of that would have been. Like if I had been knowing comedy for 5 years and been shit and unfunny, and then suddenly like you start to get better, and then like people suddenly be friendlier to you. I don't know. what that kind of experience would be like. But I certainly know when I did like Melbourne, that as my show went on and started to get better reviews and better turnouts, it seems like there were people that seem to be more aware of that and then becoming noticeably friendlier to me.
Yes, Melbourne is the perfect example. Honestly, my head went to Melbourne because
There just seemed to be a difference, right?
hanging out at the festival club and you're like, oh, now people are buzzing around me like about management. Oh, and all these people want to say hello. How
That's what it felt like.
strange. Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Isn't it gross? I think it's yuck. But also, I mean, you got to do what you can to make a career, I guess. That's life. That's whatever.
I mean, look, you should just try and be a real person all the time to everyone, right? Not everyone is that, but then you can also see why someone would try to instantly gravitate to or be friendlier to someone if they think that they're going to be successful and they can possibly get something out of that friendship.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully from my experiences with friends before and after prison, hopefully that's given me the ability to be able to see a phony a bit better.
Yeah. Do you think it has?
I don't know.
Well, time will tell.
Time will tell. When I go back to jail, Chloe. I'm going back just so I can find out again who are my real friends, because I don't know how to tell otherwise. Can you imagine? You were that insecure. You're like, I got to go back to jail just to find out.
I just
Do
need
these
to
people
know.
really like
do
me?
they like me? No, just start a multi-level marketing. Sign up with one of those guys. Get into a pyramid scheme, and then you'll find out. I think. Like I had a friend invite me to one of those one time.
Oh my God.
I know. I was so offended that they thought I was that dumb. But
they also feel it feels like you're talking to a cult member, right?
Totally, it is
Totally
a cult. It is a cult. It's the same
totally
principles.
brainwashed to like, look, this one's different.
Yeah, it's a
This
cult.
one's not like all the other ones you've heard
No,
of.
it's 100% a cult.
Can I talk to you about isogenics or Nutanix or whatever the fuck they're called?
I don't even remember what they were trying to sell, but when I was like, no, I didn't then, write my friend off entirely. I was just like...
But did they write you off?
No. It was fine. He got out of it, it's okay. But I think that would be a good way to test your friends.
I don't think that's fair to them or me. I'd rather go to jail.
That's a great point, actually. Okay. Jail sounds way better.
I'd rather go to jail than be like, hey man, look, everybody out there, but I've got this great business that I'm involved in. I want to just spend 20 minutes talking about how we can make you level up in business.
No, it's disgusting. I hate it so much. Awful. All right. I think that we're pretty much ready for our sleepover games. You ready for some sleepover games?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we do?
We're going to play a couple of games. I have Would You Rather, Fuck, Marry, Kill, and Truth or Dare. Just so you know, to get into that friendship vibe. I feel like it's my way of getting to know my guests better,
Okay.
All right.
Let me just really concentrate on the questions.
Okay. Well, first is Would You Rather. Mm-hmm. You understand how the game works?
I think so. Yeah, I get two options, and I say which one I'd rather do. All right, yeah.
All right.
I'm not a complete idiot. Let's go.
Okay. Would you rather go back to jail for 5 years or be in a coma for 10 years?
I mean, based on my prison experience that I had, and that was in maximum security.
Yeah.
If I went to jail, I'd probably be in minimum, and that's easier time. I would do the jail because also I'd probably have a hit show on the back of it.
Yeah.
If I'm just asleep for the whole 10.
You'll lose momentum. You'll lose fans. That's a great point.
Yeah, I'd rather I'd do the jail, get ripped, come out in 5 years, and just be like, have a great news show and look hot. Whereas I'm not getting any of those benefits if I'm asleep for 10 years.
That's a great point. You're going to look like shit.
Yeah.
Coma patients are famously on hot.
Famously. Have you ever seen a hot one? I wake up, oh my God, he looks great.
Maybe if I did, because I would have to stop eating, finally. Okay, got another Would You Rather. Would you rather never be able to talk about prison again or have to talk about prison in every single conversation, stand-up set, show?
I mean, some people would argue that that's already my life currently, that I literally talk about it.
You're doing a show that's not about prison?
Yeah, but like, sorry, what were the options again?
You can never talk about it again, Or you have
talk
to,
about it all the
or
time.
you have to keep being yourself.
I would keep talking about it because here's the thing: I'm going to do a show where I don't mention it, but
I
then
know.
probably the year after I'll go back to talking about it.
Oh my god.
We're not done. I've only scratched the surface of what they're there. So yeah, I think it's very on brand for me to. I mean, that was how I originally marketed myself, was as the jail guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if I had to choose between those two options, I would just continue with essentially what comedy career I've created for myself over the last 18 months, which is just always talking about it.
Okay. Get ready for that, folks. I mean, you don't have to do this. Obviously, this is a hypothetical.
My new show,
but...
More Jokes About the Time I Went to Prison, is coming to a comedy show near you real soon.
Okay, you're going to have to go to prison again because it's going to get old. Give you another few years on this stint, and then you're going back.
You are
in.
right.
All right, I've got fuck, marry, kill. Now, this first one, I wanted to present some of these options to Lauren Bonner, but it seemed disgusting and outrageous. But for you, it
I love
seems
discussing.
fine.
I love discussing and outrageous. It's one of my favorite places to be.
I think it'll be fine for you to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested. For the listeners, you guys will not know who these three people are, but they are all Sydney comedy
Oh, they're
room
people? Okay,
bookers.
people we know.
Yeah, these are people. So fuck, marry, kill. Anthony Skinner, Seizure Kaiser, and Ryan Sim.
All right. Well, I'm going to fuck Ryan. I think because he's the best looking, right? And then, oh, I got to marry.
Be careful. Which one do you want to be booked at? After this?
That's a good question. I think I strategically I'm going to have to kill Seizure and marry Skinner. Surely.
Devastating.
Actually,
Then you have to be married to Skinner.
look, it's not an ideal situation. Which way I do it, is it?
I mean, yeah, no, it's not. It's
Um,
not good. I'm so sorry.
Unless I can get Seizure to come to some kind of agreement where I get to do the first spot on every one of the open mics for the rest of the time, which I probably could.
Why?
I'd rather just do that, get out of there, because it's fun. It's a good place to try stuff.
It is. No, I love Seizure's gigs. He's doing great. They're really fun.
I like testing stuff in that cooked room. But yeah, I think. Look, Skinner wrote a really lovely character reference for me when I went to court.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
for that, I need to marry him.
Okay, fair enough. No more questions. That's fair.
Did he write it too late to be actually used in court? Yes,
Oh
but
my
he still
God.
wrote it, and it was really touching the words
That
he used.
stupid
So
little train
he can
driver.
be my husband forever. Thank
Okay.
you, Chilsey.
That's beautiful. All right, one more fuck, marry, kill. Fuck, marry, kill. Cocaine, stand-up comedy, and Yeah Mad TV.
So, all right. Kill cocaine. Right.
Fair.
I can't be doing that
You
anymore.
gotta, yeah.
It took me down too bad of a path.
Yeah.
Which means I need to fuck. I think fucking Yeah Mad makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hot. It's passionate. It's in the moment.
Yeah.
But it's like, who knows if this thing's gonna
Totally.
where it's gonna go. Whereas I
think
want
that's
to have a
smart.
long-term, beautiful relationship with comedy. So that seems to make sense logically for me.
Yeah. All right. Good answers. Beautiful. We've got one more game left.
All right, let's do it. What is it?
Truth or dare?
Okay.
Truth or
do I
dare?
have to choose?
Yeah, you got to choose. Do.
What happened? What was the last one with Lauren? Did you choose truth or
She
dare?
chose truth.
Okay, then I guess I'm doing dare.
Okay. I dare you to drink out of the mystery cup.
All right. Oh my god.
Hang on. You got to be careful not to spill.
Is it a death cap mushroom? Are you gonna kill me?
I'm not going to kill you.
Oh my god.
But don't spill it. Hold it tight.
Is it gonna fuck? All right.
Nah, she'll be right. Don't sniff it.
Is that like apple cider vinegar? Or
Yeah,
something?
it is. I'm just trying to make you healthier.
That's not too bad.
It's okay.
Yeah. That's right. I was like, fuck, what is it?
No, I think the fear is in not knowing.
Yeah, but
It's fine.
No, that's totally fine.
Yay.
What was the truth going to be?
I was going to ask if you had any special skills, like a hidden talent.
I think it was like sculling beer. I'm pretty good at that. But
Really?
Yeah.
That's a shit skill.
is that a shit skill? No, I used to win competitions at the pub all
Okay,
the
yeah,
time,
that's-
Chloe.
that's
For a
good.
guy, that's actually a really good skill. I'm pretty good.
For a guy. What does that mean?
Because
'Cause
guys
men-
respect guys that can scull a beer.
That's true. That's
you
true.
know?
Do you do the
When you
thing
do
where
rugby,
you open it and it just all goes down?
No, I'm not like I'm more like a 3 gulp gulper.
Not
but-
impressed.
Not impressed.
Not
I'm but, like,
impressed.
okay, so when you like play rugby and stuff like that, and you have a boat race, right?
Yeah.
You need the fastest guy to be the anchor, right? The last, and I was usually the last guy because I was usually the fastest. I guess most people, and so that in a bloke setting is actually it's a really good skill to have and someone you
Yeah.
need in your corner.
Okay.
Yeah. So how dare you besmirch my talent?
I'm so sorry. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing.
Next time
about
you bring me on here,
beers.
well, I'll scull a beer, okay?
Okay, I'll see to that. We're done. Thank you so much for coming.
It has been a pleasure.
Oh, wonderful. Can you tell everyone where to find you?
On Instagram, Andrew Hamilton Comedy. On TikTok, Andrew.hamo. That's about it, really.
Beautiful. Anything else you want to plug? Any shows? You have Friends Show? This will be out in like 2 weeks.
Oh, great.
3
So I'm
weeks?
doing like the 31st of August and like the 2nd and 3rd of September at the Factory Theatre. The show is called Andrew Hamilton Doesn't Mention Prison. And it's a work in progress show that I haven't fully written yet. So
Are you going to mention prison?
I will not mention it.
Are you sure?
Unless I run out of things to say.
He's going to mention prison.
Unless people in the audience really demand it. No. I'm going to try my best.
Okay, wonderful. My name's Chloe Madron. Find me on Instagram, TikTok. Please like and subscribe the show. Send me any messages if you want to send me sleepover games. Just comment. Just talk to me. I want you
Just
to be my
reach out.
friends. Just reach out. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Bye.
You're my friend.